Biomutant has a ton of exploration. It also has a ton of mounts, flying mounts, animal mounts, mechs, and also this weird book-looking thing. I have no idea what this is, but today we're going to break down every mount that we know about in Biomutant, as well as talk a bit about the exploration that you can see in these trailers. Let's go. Today's video is brought to you by my Discord server. If you like games, if you like just having a chat with like-minded people, this is a place that you need to be. We have some conversations going on about Biomutant and other games, as well as a ton of pet pictures and anything else you can want to think of. So there is a link in the description. Be sure to jump in my Discord. I've decided to break down this discussion into really three categories: the flying mounts, the rideable like animal mounts, and the mechs. So we're going to start with the rideable mounts. Now, we have seen different variations throughout the trailers of what these rideable creature kind of animal mounts are going to look like. We've seen things like a rideable wolf, things that kind of look like a horse but aren't really a horse, and other different four-legged creatures that you can ride. It's also interesting to see that some of these are being ridden in like the icy areas, which, as we know from the character creator, and if you haven't seen that, please check out my last video I made, which goes through the character creator and this concept of tolerance. And as you do pick your character at the start of the game, you will get to pick a tolerance, which will be like fire, ice, biohazard, and radioactivity. So it's going to be interesting to see if this also pertains to the mounts that you can choose. Maybe some of the mounts, have those resistances to something like ice, so you can actually take them into the icy regions, or vice versa, an ice mount can't go into the fire area, for example. But it'll be interesting to see if there is any kind of those elements, especially as it does seem like your tolerance is really important for you as the Biomutant. It would make sense that this also translates to the mounts that you're using throughout the game. There is also, in one shot, in like a blink and you'll miss it shot, where you can see the Biomutant has a lasso and he's like lassoing another creature. I wonder if this is actually linked to the mount, or if this is a separate kind of weapon. We've only seen this in like one brief shot in a trailer, so I don't even know if there is any more to this at all. We also have some flying mounts. Now, most of these flying mounts, even the ones that are actually animals, like we have seen a bat, they all seem to be more of like gliding aspects rather than actually like legitimate flying from A to B. It's more, you jump off a high area, kind of like Breath of the Wild, and you're gliding down to, somewhere that you're going to land. There is one flying mech which actually seems like a legit flying mount, and I did get to play this a tiny little bit in the demo I got to play at PAX Australia, where this demo started off actually in this mount. So I wonder if this is a scripted like fast travel that'll just take you from A to B, or if once you have unlocked this flying mech, you can actually use it to travel around the world. But these mounts, the flying ones, are for the most part just gliders, and there is some that are creatures and some that are more mechanical, or just like a piece of wood with some silk or whatever on it. It'll be interesting to see if these can be crafted, especially the glidable like gliders, if they are craftable. There is crafting in the game, we do know that, but I wonder if this is going to be linked to that, or if someone will just give you a glider and then you can change the way that your glider looks as you do have it, because we have seen different layouts for the gliders themselves. Same goes for the creatures. I wonder if this is going to be something you can get just by taming a creature, or how you actually get these creature or animals as your mounts. The last category, which kind of has me most intrigued, is the mechanical mechs that you can get. We have seen a fair few of these, including like a jet ski, like a weird squid underwater mech, and the main one that we have seen throughout many of the trailers, which is kind of just like a humanoid mech, and the little hand thing that seems to wander around. Now, some of these seem to be linked to a World Eater event. In the demo that I played and in some of the trailers we have seen, the humanoid mech seems to be linked to fighting the Jumbo Puff World Eater. I wonder if a lot of these mechs will be linked to these World Eater events, which kind of makes sense. The World Eaters are supposed to be the big bad bosses. It makes sense that you do have to have a mech so that you can take on these big creatures, or even not necessarily a mech, but like a jet ski. We have seen that as well. A way that you can kind of level the playing field against these World Eaters. Not all of these mechs seem to be related to a World Eater event specifically. Some of these have been seen outside of these boss battles, like the crawling hand, as well as like a jet ski. So they're not necessarily based around this one aspect of the game, but it will be interesting to see where these actually lie. Do you have to do a quest to actually unlock them, or how you get them? I've also noticed that a lot of these mechanical mechs are more combat focused than some of the others. It will be interesting to see if that is just the case across the board with these mechanical mechs. I wonder if you can customize them with crafting in any specific way, or even just the look of them, if you can even just use them outside of their specific event. It'd be interesting to see how they really tie into the overall exploration throughout Biomutant. Now, something that we haven't covered yet, and I'd be really interested to know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, is how you get these different mounts. And there is a lot of variation in how these look and their feel, and I wonder how you get them. You know, these big mechs like the humanoid guy seem to be related to it like a world eater. So my expectation here is this will be tied to a quest, like a prerequisite to being able to fight the world eater. You'll have to do something, unlock this mech, go take the world eater, and then they'll probably take the mech back. But it will be interesting to see how the rest of these tie into these events. You know, the water ski, do you just have to do a quest for someone, you unlock it? Do you build it yourself? Is it just something that you buy? And the other animalistic creatures and the things that you can find, this will be interesting to see if you can tame these in any specific way. Similar to Breath of the Wild, where you tame horses, bring them to a stable, and then you own them. You know, you put a saddle on them and they become yours. I wonder if these animals will be a similar way. You'll have to ride them, tame them, bring them to a stable, then they become yours and you can summon them. Or if, you know, you'll get them from a village. We do know that there are tribes and villages in this game, whether these are just going to be a stable at the villages and you can just choose from a list of 2 to 3, however many, you just pick whichever one you want and away you go. It could also be linked to the reputation system with these tribes. We do know that you will get some kind of combat forms based around your reputations with the tribes and the villages, so this is another thing they could implement as part of that as quest rewards, as well as having a higher reputation with a certain tribe. Maybe you unlock their specific mount that that tribe uses, and then you can use that to take that throughout the world. I don't really know directly how this is going to relate, and I'm really interested to see how this really comes into the exploration of the game and whether you can just have a mount at any time. We don't necessarily, as far as I know, have the exact measurements for how big the world is going to be, but in a lot of the trailers we have seen it does look pretty big, especially in the shots where you can see the world tree and it's very green all around it. And we also know there are areas that are radioactive, that have biohazard, that are ice and fire. We know that this branches a decent way that there are different biomes, so we know at least there's going to be 5-ish main areas. How that really relates into these mounts and your exploration is going to be interesting to see. I'm also interested to see how much of these areas are available at the start of the game, whether it's pretty linear, you have to go through the areas one by one, or how much of it is just free for all. You know, you do a tutorial, 20 minutes, and then it's just kind of like Skyrim, where you walk out of a doorway and then all of a sudden there you are, you can do whatever you like. It'll be interesting to see how that really plays into effect for the game. Now, if you're looking for more Biomutant content, check out my character creation video that went live earlier this week that goes through all of the races and classes that got revealed in a Japanese leak. Please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Twitch, where I stream 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Australian night times. Hope to see you guys there in the next stream. We'll also be streaming a lot of Biomutant once this game does actually come out. So if you're looking for more Biomutant content, that is the place to be once we finally have this game in our hands next month. Thank you for watching this video. My name is NorZZa, and I hope you have a great day.